On a cold winter evening, December 29, 1170, the sacred halls of Canterbury Cathedral became the stage for one of the most shocking assassinations in medieval history. 4 knights claiming to act on behalf of King Henry II stormed into the sacred halls and brutally murdered the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Becket. The brutal murder of Thomas Becket was not just a crime, it was a moment that shook the very foundation of power in medieval Europe. Becket, once the king's closest friend and most trusted advisor, had become his greatest rival. His defiance had enraged the king, leading to the fateful command that would seal his fate. In this video, we'll unravel the dramatic story of Thomas Becket's rise to power, his falling out with the king, and the tragic murder that turned him into a saint. Thomas Becket was born in London in 1119 to a prosperous Norman merchant family. He was well educated and ambitious, studying in Paris before entering the service of Theobald, the Archbishop of Canterbury. His intelligence and administrative skills quickly earned him a reputation as a capable and efficient official. Theobald recognized his potential and recommended him to King Henry II, who appointed Becket as his Chancellor of England in 1115. As Chancellor, Becket became one of Henry's most trusted advisors and closest companions. The two men shared a strong friendship, often hunting, feasting, and laughing together. In 1162, after the death of Archbishop Theobald, Henry made a fateful decision. He appointed Becket as the new Archbishop of Canterbury, the highest religious position in England. Henry believed that Becket, still his loyal friend, would use his new position to bring the church under royal authority. But the moment Becket donned the robes of the Archbishop, everything changed. Becket underwent a profound transformation. Instead of serving the king's interests, he became a staunch defender of the church's independence. He resigned as chancellor to distance himself from royal affairs, and began challenging Henry's attempts to extend his influence over the church and opposed any royal interference in church matters. Henry, who had expected Becket to be his political ally, now found himself facing an unexpected and powerful opponent. In 1164, Henry introduced the Constitutions of Clarendon, a set of laws aimed at reducing the church's power and increasing royal control. Becket refused to accept these laws, leading to his temporary exile in France. For 6 years, he lived under the protection of the Pope and King Louis VII of France. By 1170, a fragile truce was arranged and Becket returned to England. But the conflict reignited when Becket excommunicated several bishops who had sided with King Henry II. This was a direct challenge to Henry's authority, and the king, already frustrated with Becket's defiance, reportedly erupted in rage. On December 29, 1170, the 4 knights, Reginald Fitzurse, Hugh de Morville, William de Tracy, and Richard le Breton, arrived at Canterbury Cathedral, demanding that Becket submit to the king's authority. Becket refused. The knights confronted Becket near the altar, accusing him of treason. When Becket remained defiant, Fitzurse struck the first blow, slicing into his head. The other knights followed, delivering fatal strikes. The final blow was so forceful that the top of Becket's skull was cut off, spilling his brains onto the cathedral floor. The horrified monks and clergy were left in shock. The Archbishop of Canterbury, the highest religious authority in England, had been slaughtered in his own church. News of Becket's murder spread rapidly, and public outrage was immense. The church declared Becket a martyr, and within just 3 years, Pope Alexander III canonized him as St. Thomas Becket. His tomb in Canterbury became one of the most important pilgrimage sites in medieval Europe. King Henry II, realizing the gravity of his actions, performed public penance. In 1174, he walked barefoot through the streets of Canterbury and allowed himself to be flogged by monks as an act of repentance.